Dear listeners, I welcome you to my channel. Leave your comments and impressions, I value your opinion. The world stood still as I flung open the door to the dimly lit room of the familiar hotel. The musky scent of deceit hanging heavily in the air. My heart raced, thumping against my chest as if trying to break free from the betrayal that suffocated it. There he was, Daniel, my husband of 7 years, wrapped in an embrace that was not meant for him. And there she was, Ava, my best friend, the other half of this wretched affair. Her eyes widened in shock, mirroring the horror in mine. Not just at my sudden appearance but at the sight of the figure standing beside me, her lover, Alex. Elise, wait. Don't do this, he's not to blame. Ava's voice cracked as she scrambled from the couch, her features twisted in a desperate plea. But her words were nothing more than whispers lost in a storm of rage and heartbreak. I clenched my jaw, feeling the cold grip of the pistol in my hand. It wasn't just a confrontation, it was the culmination of the lies and the pain they had woven around me. Not to blame? My voice was steady, belying the chaos that wreaked havoc inside me. I trusted you, Ava. And you, Daniel? You vowed to be mine, remember? Daniel stood up, his face ashen, eyes darting between me and Alex, who stood frozen by the door, the realization of the situation dawning on him. Elise, please, let's talk about this. It's not what you think. Talk? I laughed, a hollow sound that echoed off the walls. I'm done talking. This is me acting. The weight of my decision pressed down on me, but the betrayal fueled my resolve. Ava reached out, her fingers trembling. Elise, I'm so sorry. Please, putting Alex in this was never my intention, it just happened. It just happened. I mimicked her, stepping forward. The floor felt like shifting sand beneath my feet. My life turned upside down because it just happened. Daniel moved, perhaps to calm me, but I wasn't having it. Stay where you are, I warned, my finger tightening on the trigger. Not to shoot, I hadn't decided their fate yet, but to assert control over the chaos. You need to understand, Elise, we never wanted to hurt you. Daniel's voice broke, his usual confidence washed away by fear and guilt. Hurt me? I scoffed. You obliterated me. My gaze shifted to Alex, who had been silent till now. And you? What's your excuse? Sneaking around with someone else's life? Alex swallowed hard, his eyes pleading for some semblance of mercy. I didn't know she was your best friend, Elise. Ava never told me about you. The room was thick with tension, every breath, every movement loaded with the weight of their treachery. I took a deep breath, feeling the power shift. Today, I reclaimed what was mine, even if it meant breaking everything apart. Here's how this is going to go, I began, my voice low, controlled. We're going to sit down, and each of you is going to tell me the truth, every dirty, painful part of it. And then, I paused, letting the suspense hang in the air. I decide what happens next. Because unlike you, when I make a vow, I keep it. And I vowed this wouldn't go unpunished. The room fell silent, save for the soft hum of the air conditioner and the distant sounds of the city. They knew the gravity of the situation. There was no escape, no more lies. Today they faced the consequences of their actions, and I, Elise, was the arbiter of their fate. We sit around the small circular table that seems too intimate for the gulfs of betrayal between us. Ava's mascara is smeared, her eyes red and swollen from crying. Daniel keeps his gaze fixed on the grain of the table, unable to meet my eyes. Alex sits stiffly, the outsider dragged into our sordid drama. The silence is stifling, oppressive, like the calm before a storm. I break it, my voice slicing through the tension. Let's begin, I say, my tone harsher than I intend. Ava, start. I want to hear it from you. She takes a deep, shuddering breath, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. It started 6 months ago. It wasn't planned, Elise. It just happened. It just happened. You keep saying that, but people don't just fall into bed together by accident, Ava. I snap, my patience fraying. Daniel finally looks up, his voice quiet but firm. It's true. It was never meant to hurt you, Elise. I turn to him sharply, and yet here we are. How long, Daniel? How long have you been lying to me? His voice is barely a whisper. 5 months. 5 months. The words echo in my mind, a relentless reminder of the deception. Suddenly, the door to the hotel room clicks open, and my sister Julia steps in, her eyes widening slightly at the scene before her. She's always had impeccable timing. Elise, are you? Julia, now's not the time, I hiss. The last thing I need is another complication. She nods, closing the door softly behind her but stays, leaning against it, her presence a silent support. Go on, I urge Ava, needing to hear the full extent of the betrayal. Ava looks helplessly at Julia then continues, it was just coffee at first. Then, one thing led to another. I swear I wanted to tell you so many times. Yet you didn't, I interject coldly. Alex shifts uncomfortably, I should have known better too. I'm sorry, Elise. I didn't realize what I was getting into until it was too late. You're all sorry now that you're caught, I retort, the bitterness evident in my tone. Julia steps forward, her voice soothing yet firm. Elise, what are you planning to do? I meet her eyes, filled with concern and love. Justice, Julia. They need to understand the consequences. What does that mean, Elise? Daniel asks, a note of fear creeping into his voice. It means that this, I wave my hand around the room, ends today, with every truth laid bare. Is this why you brought him? Ava nods towards Alex. He's part of this now. He deserves to know the whole story, I say, the decision clear in my mind. The door opens again, and this time it's my brother-in-law, Rick, a police officer. His uniform seems oddly out of place in the sordid atmosphere of the hotel room. Everything all right here, Elise? Rick asks, his eyes scanning the room, landing on the gun still on the table. Yes, just dealing with some personal matters, I reply, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. Rick nods, understanding the gravity of the situation but maintaining his professional demeanor. Remember, I'm just outside if you need me. As he leaves, the finality of the situation settles over us like a heavy cloak. This was it. No more lies, no more secrets. Today, everything changes. I want everyone's phones on the table, I command, and they comply silently, the clatter of smartphones punctuating the tense air. Now, we're going to fix this, together, and it starts by ending the lies. All of them. My gaze sweeps over them, daring anyone to challenge me. The room is thick with anticipation and dread. The truth, however bitter, would come out, and from this point on, nothing would ever be the same. The phones lay scattered like fallen soldiers on the table, their screens dark and silent. I eye them warily as if they could spring to life and reveal more than I want to know. But it's not the phones that hold the secrets, it's the people around this table. My sister Julia's hand rests gently on my shoulder, a silent reminder that I'm not alone. Elise, what now? Julia's voice is a lifeline in the turbulent sea of my emotions. I meet her eyes, filled with the resolve that has hardened within me. Now we talk about the consequences. Daniel's eyes are fixed on the tabletop, a stark contrast to his usual confident demeanor. Elise, whatever you want, I'll do it. I want to fix this. Fix this? The bitterness in my voice surprises even me. How do you fix years of lies, Daniel? Ava interjects, her voice shaky. Maybe we can start by explaining everything. No more secrets. I nod stiffly. Go on then. Explain. She looks towards Alex, who nods slightly, a silent pact forming between them before she turns back to me. It started as a mistake, but then we couldn't stop. We knew it was wrong, Elise. Every day, it was wrong. And yet you continued, I say flatly. Yes, and I'm sorry, Elise. More sorry than I can say. Eva's eyes are pleading. Sorry doesn't change what happened, I snap, feeling the anger bubble up inside me. From the corner, Alex speaks up. I should have stepped back. I didn't know everything at first, but when I did, I was too deep in. Julia's grip tightens on my shoulder, her presence grounding me. What do you all expect from this? Forgiveness? Daniel finally looks up, his eyes meeting mine. If it's possible, yes. But also, understanding, maybe. We know we've hurt you. We can't undo that. We can only try to make things right from here. The room falls silent, the weight of his words hanging between us. Julia's voice breaks the silence. Elise, what do you want to do? I take a deep breath, feeling every pair of eyes on me. I want transparency. Complete transparency. Starting now. Julia nods, understanding my need for control. Okay, then let's lay everything on the table. Everything. I turn to Rick, who's been quietly observing from the doorway. Can you make sure of that? Rick nods and steps forward, his demeanor professional. If that's what you want, Elise, I can help facilitate. No one leaves until everything's out. Daniel swallows hard, the reality of the situation setting in. Ava nods, resigned. Alex looks terrified but determined. All right, I say, my voice stronger now. No more hiding. Ava, start from the beginning. How did it really start? Every detail. Ava takes a deep breath and starts to talk. As her story unfolds, the room feels colder, each word a shard of ice. My heart hardens with each confession, each revelation more painful than the last. As the hours tick by, the confessions spill out, messy and painful. Each one chips away at the facade of the life I thought I knew. When the final secret is laid bare, a heavy silence settles over us. It's the silence of truth, harsh and unyielding. Julia squeezes my shoulder gently. What now, Elise? Now. I look around the room, at the faces marred by guilt and regret. Now. I make my decision. We end this, I say, my voice clear and unwavering. We end all of this today. No going back. Daniel nods, accepting. Ava wipes away a tear, and Alex lets out a breath he seems to have been holding forever. All right, Rick says, stepping forward. Let's start putting things right. The room is thick with the aftermath of exposed secrets, a tangible heaviness that clings to the air, oppressive and relentless. Daniel, Ava, and Alex sit in silence, a broken trio bound by the thread of their transgressions. My sister Julia remains by my side, her presence a silent fortress against the storm. Rick, having played his part as the enforcer of truth, leans against the doorframe, his eyes on me, waiting for my cue. Are we good here? He asks, his voice low, almost hesitant. I nod, my mind racing through the revelations, each one a piece of the puzzle that was my life. Yes, thank you, Rick. My voice is calm, belying the storm inside me. I think it's time for the final act. Daniel's eyes lift to meet mine, searching for a sign of forgiveness, a glimpse of the love that once was. Elise, is there a chance for us? After everything? I shake my head slowly, the decision firm in my heart. No, Daniel. There's no going back. Ava's sob breaks the silence, her remorse palpable. But my eyes are on Alex, whose face shows relief, perhaps at the prospect of being free from this tangled web. Julia squeezes my hand, a silent question in her touch. I squeeze back, signaling that I'm ready. Turning to face them all, I take a deep breath. This is where we part ways, I declare, the finality in my voice echoing off the walls. But not before I reveal the last piece of this puzzle. Confusion registers on their faces, and even Julia looks at me questioningly. You see, I continue, the words heavy on my tongue. This isn't just about betrayal or infidelity. It's about deceit at a much deeper level. Daniel frowns. What do you mean, Elise? 2 months ago, I hired a private investigator, I reveal, watching as the color drains from Daniel's face. I suspected something was off. Not just the affair, but something more sinister. Ava gasps, her face turning pale. What did you find? The investigation revealed that not only were you having an affair, Ava, but you and Daniel were involved in embezzling from our company. The words land like a bomb, and Daniel's denial starts immediately. That's not true, Elise. I would never. Save it. I cut him off, my voice sharp. I have all the evidence I need. It's been turned over to the authorities. The shock is palpable. Ava looks devastated, her betrayal deeper than just the heart. Alex stares at the floor, his earlier relief replaced by disillusionment. And there's more, I add, my eyes locking with Julia's as she nods subtly. Julia and I are taking over the company. We've been planning this for a while, waiting for the right moment to step in and clean house. Daniel looks between me and Julia, the realization setting in. Ava is in tears, and Alex seems to shrink in his chair. Elise, I'm sorry, Daniel stammers, his plea for forgiveness pathetic in its desperation. I don't need your apologies, Daniel. I need you to understand the consequences of your actions. I stand, my resolve steeling me against the pain. This is goodbye. As I turn to leave, Julia follows, her arm around my shoulders in solidarity. Rick steps forward to handle the aftermath, his role clear. Outside, the cool air hits my face, a stark contrast to the stifling atmosphere of the room. Juliet and I walk together, the weight of the past lifting with each step. You okay? She asks, her voice soft. I nod, allowing myself a small smile. Yes, it's finally over. As we reach the car, I pause, looking back at the hotel. The chapter of my life filled with deceit and betrayal is closed, but ahead, a new chapter awaits, one of rebuilding and new beginnings. Julia turns to me, her smile mirroring my own. Ready for what's next? More than ever, I reply, the future suddenly bright and promising. Together, we step into the new day, leaving the shadows behind.